Eventually, you'll approach an intersection where you'll either drive straight through or make a turn. The challenge here is that many other drivers will also want to drive straight through or turn at the same time you'll be there. It's also more likely that there will be other roadway users, such as pedestrians, at the intersection at the same time. That creates a high potential for conflict and collisions. Simply put, because there are more roadway users at intersections, there are more collisions at intersections than in any other place along the roadway. Although the risk associated with intersections can't be completely eliminated, it can be reduced by applying a few techniques. As you approach an intersection, you must scan the entire intersection and identify any areas of blocked vision and any signs, signals, or road markings. As you get closer, you'll usually need to adjust your speed, most often by slowing down a bit. A useful technique in this situation is to cover the brake. By lifting your foot off the accelerator and positioning it just above the brake pedal, your response time will be that much quicker if you have to use the brakes to slow down suddenly. You don't actually touch the pedal when covering the brake. Your foot is just a bit above it in case you need it. If you have to slow down, and you probably will, be sure to check if there's a vehicle following behind you. If so, it can't hurt to tap the brakes a couple of times to help alert the driver behind you that you're decelerating. Intersections are also a frequent reminder that not all drivers obey traffic controls. You need to be aware that this could happen at any intersection. Even if you've been granted the right-of-way, before you enter an intersection, you must check for any other traffic entering the intersection. Look left, then right, then back to the left. As your eyes move from left to right and back, remember to scan straight ahead of you for any potential risks on the other side of the intersection. If you don't look back again to the left before entering an intersection, you may miss something important. There are some large vehicles out on the roadways today, and the largest one that you'll interact with is probably a train. At some point, almost every driver will need to drive across railroad tracks, and those intersections can be very risky. Each year, approximately 2,000 collisions kill over 250 people at railroad crossings. These crashes often occur despite the presence of warning signs, crossing gates, and signals. Unfortunately, the passenger vehicle driver is usually at fault in these collisions, especially at intersections that are not equipped with signals. Obviously, there's an enormous difference in weight between trains and passenger vehicles. In fact, a train weighs about 4,000 times as much as a passenger vehicle. In proportion, it's like an automobile versus a soda can. As a result, a passenger car driver is almost 20 times more likely to be killed in a crash involving a train than in a collision with another passenger vehicle. Two simple rules will help keep you safe at any railroad crossing you will ever approach. The first rule is, always expect a train. People get so used to not seeing trains that they may stop looking. There's only one way to make sure that the way is clear, and that's to look up and down the tracks carefully. If you don't have a clear view of the tracks, be sure to slow down enough to be able to stop if a train does appear. And if there are multiple tracks crossing the roadway, don't assume that you're waiting for just one train to pass by. Watch out for a second train. The second rule is never try to beat a train. Any train you see is closer and moving faster than you think. Because of the train's size and its distance away from the crossing, it's easy to misjudge how fast a train is approaching. If you see a train approaching, wait for it to go by before you proceed across the tracks. Even if you don't see a train, never drive around lowered gates. It's illegal and deadly. Be aware that trains cannot stop quickly. Even if the train engineer sees you, a freight train that's moving at 55 miles per hour can take a mile or more to stop once the emergency brakes are applied. Do not get trapped on the tracks. Proceed only if you're sure you can completely clear the crossing without stopping.